While this podcast isn't rated explicit, the content may not be suitable for younger listeners. Welcome to Sex for Saints, the Christian couple's guide to great sex. I am your host, certified sex and marriage coach, Amanda Lauder. This is episode 361, Sexual Transmutation. Welcome to Sex for Saints, a podcast for Christian couples. My goal with this podcast is to help enlighten, educate, and inspire you to understand yourself, your spouse, and your sexuality better. I talk about sex in a way you probably haven't heard before. I'm bold, I'm direct, but I keep everything in line with my strong Christian values. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We often think about sexual energy as something that simply fuels desire, attraction, and physical connection. But what if I told you that sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces in your life, not just for sex, but for creativity, ambition, personal growth, and even your spiritual development? That's where sexual transmutation comes in. The term sexual transmutation was made famous by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, where he described it as the process of converting sexual energy into other forms of productivity and creativity. But this idea has been around much longer. In Taoism, Tantra, and even certain Christian teachings, sexual energy is seen as life-giving and deeply spiritual, something that can be harnessed for higher purposes. So at its core, sexual transmutation is the redirection of sexual energy away from physical gratification and toward personal, professional, or spiritual growth. It's not about suppression or repression. It's about transformation. So instead of being controlled by urges, sexual transmutation allows you to use that energy intentionally in ways that serve your goals and deepen your self-mastery. So if you are the higher desire spouse and your partner doesn't share the same level of sexual interest, it can be really frustrating. You might feel stuck, resentful, or even question whether something is wrong with you or your relationship. But what if you could take all of that sexual energy and channel it into something productive instead of just letting it simmer in frustration? Sexual transmutation gives higher desire partners a healthy and empowering way to manage their sexuality without feeling deprived, resentful, or at the mercy of their libido. So here's how it can help. Number one is by channeling sexual energy into personal growth. So sexual energy is life energy. Maybe you've heard me talk about it as Eros energy. It's the same creative force that fuels passion, ambition, and innovation. When you're feeling sexually charged but don't have an outlet for it in the way you'd prefer, consider where else in your life you can direct that intensity. So instead of seeing unmet sexual desire as a problem, you can use it to pursue personal goals, whether that's fitness, learning a new skill, or taking on a passion project. I know a lot of guys like to fuel into fitness, but there's only so many hours a day that you can work out. So there are other ways of fueling this into personal goals. Another way is to deepen your spiritual practice. So many ancient traditions view sexual energy as sacred, and you can channel it into prayer, meditation, or even acts of service. And then it's also can help you boost creative output. So maybe that's writing or painting, making music, or even creating a business. Many highly successful people, artists, writers, inventors, have used their sexual energy as a catalyst for their best work. Number two, use sexual energy to fuel connection. So sexual transmutation doesn't mean ignoring your sexuality. It means using it intentionally. So if your partner isn't in the mood, instead of feeling rejected or discouraged, you can redirect that energy into deeper emotional connection. So instead of focusing on what you're not getting, pour that passion into romance. Plan a date, write your spouse a love letter, or surprise them with something thoughtful. Shift that sexual frustration into sensual connection. Cuddling, massage, or even deep conversation can create intimacy without necessarily leading to sex. Are you or someone you love about to take the leap into marriage? My Engaged Couples course is designed to help couples prepare for sexual intimacy, creating a strong foundation for a fulfilling and connected relationship. This course is the perfect gift for young adults in your life who are getting married, helping them approach this important aspect of their relationship with confidence, understanding, and love. Give the gift of a healthy, intimate connection and find out more on my website. All right, number 3 is strengthening self-control and confidence. So many people struggle with feeling controlled by their sexual urges. But when you practice sexual transmutation, you become the one in control. So instead of being reactive, you become intentional about how to use your sexual energy. And this can lead to greater self-discipline. When you learn how to direct sexual energy, you gain mastery over other areas of your life. It can lead to increased confidence. You're not at the mercy of your libido. You're harnessing it to become your best self. And it can lead to a deeper sense of purpose. Sexuality is just one piece of who you are, and transmutation helps you align it with your values. And number 4 is desire versus tension relief, which is a very key shift. So Dr. David Schnarch in Passionate Marriage, I've been talking about that a lot lately because I'm in the middle of rereading it with a book club, but he challenges the idea that sex should be about simply relieving tension. He argues that when sex is reduced to just a way to release pressure, it loses its depth and meaning. So instead, he encourages couples to pursue sex out of genuine desire for their partner, not just as a way to satisfy an urge. He writes, quote, "The best sex is not when you use your partner to relieve sexual tension, but when you're fully present, connected, and drawn to them, not out of need, but out of deep desire." Close quote. Now, this perspective aligns beautifully with sexual transmutation. So if you find yourself experiencing strong sexual energy, but don't have an immediate outlet, instead of just pushing for sex as a release, you can channel that energy into building actual desire. So ask yourself, am I wanting sex to relieve tension, or do I truly desire my spouse? If it's about relief, try transmuting that energy first. Redirect it into passion, creativity, or connection, and see if it shifts your mindset. And over time, this builds a sexual relationship that's not driven by neediness, but by deep, authentic attraction. So for example, a husband who used to push for sex when he felt tense started practicing sexual transmutation instead. He focused on building connection, self-development, and romance first. And over time, this created a dynamic where his wife felt desired, not just needed, which led to a richer, more fulfilling sex life. So, if this is new to you, here are some simple ways to begin practicing sexual transmutation. The first is to recognize sexual energy as powerful, not just physical. So instead of seeing desire as something that needs to be satisfied, see it as a source of creative and personal power. The second is to identify areas where you want to channel your energy. What goal or passion or relationship can you pour that energy into? Number 3 is to practice mindfulness and self-awareness. So when you feel sexually charged, instead of immediately seeking a release, ask yourself, how can I use this energy in a way that serves me? The fourth is to use visualization techniques. So many high achievers, from athletes to spiritual leaders, use visualization to redirect energy. So picture your sexual energy fueling success in other areas of your life. And number 5 is to communicate with your spouse. Let them know that you're working on using your energy in productive ways instead of seeing unmet desire as a problem. So sexual transmutation is not about suppressing or denying your sexuality. It's about owning it and using it very intentionally. So as a higher desire spouse, this can be incredible tool for feeling more empowered in your sexuality, reducing frustration in your marriage, and creating more connection, confidence, and personal growth. And when you do engage in sex, let it be driven by true desire for the person, not just an urge for relief. So I would love to know your thoughts on this. Have you tried channeling sexual energy into something else? I'd love to hear from you. This is something that I work on, especially with my higher desire clients, most of them being male in individual coaching. And I would love to hear other ideas and thoughts that you have. If this episode was helpful, please share it with someone who might need it. And if you're looking for more support in navigating desire differences, make sure to check out my coaching programs. All right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. Remember, love is a journey, not a destination. Stay committed, stay passionate, and stay connected. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Like what you're hearing on this podcast? Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Don't forget to leave me a review and share it with your friends.